Hi, everybody. You're welcome back to the Country Chats podcast. I am in great form this evening because I have a Mayo man here in front of me. I've met this man a few times over different videos or random bits, and he's only down the road from me here. But of course, we're doing everything over Zoom. We've already had a great chat, and I said we better start recording or else we would have everything talked about. But I have Ed Holland here in front of me. Ed, how's it going?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Sandra. Absolutely fantastic. It's all good. A lovely sunshine day. And all is good. Can't complain.
That's good to hear. So we apologize in advance because when you put two Mayo people together, you just keep talking, and I'm sure
exactly. We're winning about we're on about winning the All Ireland and everything this year, isn't that right?
This is it. We might not talk about music at all. It might be football.
No.
We actually already discussed football before we started recording, so we've actually got that out of the way without realizing it.
Exactly.
So how's it going? Do you know what? You've actually been kind of busy. You've a new song out and all that kind of thing. But I suppose just how's it going really? How are things going? How have things been? Obviously tough for everyone, but you've been doing bits here and there.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I've tried to adjust as much as possible, Sandra, with recording, I suppose. Before the last in between one of the lockdowns, I went back to the studio and I'd done 3 songs, whereas I normally, when I'd be going to the studio, I just do 1. But with the lockdown, I'm glad I did. So I recorded 3. I done 3. 3 and a bit of another one, but I got 3 finished anyway. And obviously left the mixing process and all that to the producer and all that. So we were working back and forth through Zoom, changing bits, and like it was difficult at the start to do that. But as I got more and more used to it, it actually worked out brilliant. I'm working with guys in Nashville all the time, so back and forth with them. Shalala was produced and nearly completely produced in Nashville, actually, between guitars and stuff I done in Dublin and all the vocals and stuff like that with the producer up there. But it's been great, like in that way, a whole new learning curve in that sense. You know, obviously no gigs and all that, and tours being pulled and all that. But in the scheme of things, compared to what has happened, it's only very small, and things hopefully will come back again. It's taken longer than we anticipated, longer than we thought. So, all we can do is hope that things will change over the next few months. We've a couple of things. We've a tour kind of penciled in for September, which I'll tell you about a little bit more. And we've moved we were meant to be in America last year, but that was moved forward. And then they didn't reschedule it at all for the second time. So what they've done was they were back on again in the last 2 weeks, and they want to go for March 2022. We hope, fingers crossed, that might happen. So we're looking kind of a couple of dates, maybe 10, probably. So again, it's all up in the air. There's no kind of definite decisions on anything, but it's a bit of a light,
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like, look, you do have tours there, you just don't know what the dates are, but it's kind of half penciled in. It's there, it's just a matter of when, which is good. That's great that there is something there waiting for you, basically.
Exactly.
But you mentioned a new song there, Shalala.
Shalala is a new one, and it's
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, came out about 3 weeks ago, and it's been received very well. And actually there's a big video, there's another kind of video going out online of loads of fans kind of singing parts of it and stuff like that. So we're excited about that. It's coming up over the next couple of weeks. So
it's very good, and it has a lovely summery feel to it. It's a feel good summer vibe. I suppose that's what you were going for.
That's what we were going for. We're kind of going back to I wanted to kind of get the sound we had in for Your Man at the start. That kind of vibe with the percussion kind of drums instead of the normal kind of drum, the normal drum sound. We went for the percussion style, and with that, there's a guy called Jason Garner in Nashville, and he's fantastic at that kind of stuff. So I approached him and had an idea in my head. It's kind of like, I suppose, kind of the summery kind of feel. I suppose that kind of what I'd say kind of closest to it at the time that was in my head when I was kind of hearing a song was that it always kind of comes back to me is that Train, Hey Soul Sister. That was huge. I remember when my sister got married years ago, it must be 10 or plus years. And I always liked that. It was really, upbeat summer vibe, and it had a lot of the percussion going on in it. So I kind of had that kind of idea for Shalala in my head,
Yeah, well, it's definitely worked. It's definitely worked. No, it is. And even I was listening to some songs. I'd always be hearing you on the radio, of course. Midwest are actually brilliant for playing you.
They're fantastic.
All the time. Of course, Midwest being our local radio station. But I just threw you on today in the car while I was zooming around. I always listen to the artist when I'm getting ready to chat, and all your songs kind of have like a feel good kind of happy vibe. Like it's all just upbeat kind of. I'd love it just put me in good form listening to you, or even when you come on the radio.
Well, thanks. That's exactly like it is. I suppose now more than ever, that's what we need. We need that more than ever to definitely give us all a lift and lift the spirits. And hopefully that's what we're doing over the last couple of songs, like Playing Beautiful we brought out last year. Thanks be to God, that was one of the songs. And then Heart Condition, that done very well for us. And then Ride This Road in January. So we've had 4 singles out over. So I've been, to be honest with you, behind the scenes, I've been flat out busy between bits of interviews, promotion, getting the songs ready, back and forth, changing bits. I'm awful picky on a song. It might take me 3 or 4 months to get bits and pieces of it changed. I might change a guitar part, do this, that, and the other. So I always just, I really want to be happy with it before we put it out, and stuff like that. And with the happy vibe, yeah. So we have another 4 or 5 songs that I'm working on for the rest of the album at the minute, and I'm hoping to get them done maybe, another 2 or 3 of them done maybe in June or July if we can get outside Mayo.
Yes,
but we'll have to be able to get outside Mayo so we can go up to collect the Sam Maguire as well.
Well, this is it, yeah. We have to think of that as well. It's not always about the...
I collect it when I'm up there, so that there's no
mix-ups.
No mix-ups.
So that will be your second album, am I right? You already have...
That would be, yeah. We have Exposed, and I suppose we should have an album out really before, in a sense now. But we've went with the singles. I think singles are the big thing now with everybody, so. We tried to get as many singles off the album. That's our kind of formula. We always release single, and get as many singles like we done with the first album. We've 4 singles already now from the second album: Playing Beautiful, Heart Condition, Ride This Road, and Shalala. So we hope to get another 2 or 3 before we even release the album. So we've another one that we're working on at the minute. It's actually a kind of slower vibe, kind of like along the lines of maybe Hey Pretty Girl and stuff that was off the first album. So kind of a song to match, like Make You Mine was like Ride This Road, that kind of thing as we're going forward, And so the next couple, we're working with some great guys in Nashville, and 1 or 2 of the guys that we're working with wrote songs for Kenny Rogers. Had a big hit with Kenny Rogers. Buy Me a Rose was one of the songs he had. So he's a guy that we're working with on a consistent basis there all the time. And another guy, Tony Rata, and his team, Kevin Rowe and a few of them that have wrote The Dance for Gar Brooks. So it's all a good circle. It's a big team effort, like with songs, so with chopping and changing,
That is brilliant. I mean, yeah, you've a great team there. And did you get the chance to go over to Nashville, or has it all been done via? It has all been done
via this way. This has been it's been a massive learning curve. And actually a way that I think as people say, it's been a lot of change for the good. There's been a massive change that I'll be working this way. And it's worked out an awful lot quicker, less traveling, less cost, everything. Do you know what I mean? It's been a huge learning curve, and you cover way more ground. You're covering way more ground. To move.
Although you wouldn't have passed the chance to go to Nashville, I'm sure.
No, and I still will. I
course.
Definitely. To be honest with you, we're only talking about in the last week, and it was a plan before that we were going to go to Nashville, and obviously this has cut out everything, but. We probably still wouldn't have went up to now, but with this and everything. But we were back on and we're talking that. So I'm definitely going to do a Hurricane Highway Nashville album as well down the road. So that's a plan that's in the pot as well with a couple of the guys over there. Because I definitely want to go over, to experience it as well,
Have you been to Nashville before?
No.
I have. I went a few years ago, and oh my God, it's something else, and it's so small. Like, it's such a small little town.
Yeah, I'm jealous now.
it's like Westport multiplied by 100.
Oh boy! Sure, I just go into Westport, so if that's what you're saying.
Well, there might be a slight difference.
Yeah, and Blake Shelton has a place over there now as well, and the big place he just opened up there the last year. They were telling me and stuff like that as well.
So that's where you're staying, is it?
No, big bar and restaurant and all that over there as well. Well, we might stay there. You never know. Yeah, and Self and Gwen will have us in.
Absolutely. So that's in the pipeline as well, please God, whenever. And I'm sure it'd be lovely to meet all the people that you worked with and that kind of thing as well, in person.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been some. We have a development deal over there, so we're working on that all the time. That's why. So hopefully when we get over again in March, we hope to be able to tour. But it's so uncertain with COVID and everything. Do you know what's going to happen? So hopefully we'll get some result on it.
Absolutely. Now we keep saying ye and we, so we better fill our listeners in on who the we are. It's not just you.
Yeah, well, myself and Kev are we run the whole operation, Seth and Kev. But I don't know if I wasn't chatting to you about this beforehand or anything. But poor Kev, he was ill over the last year. I don't know if I told you that. We were talking about that, but Kev had cancer over the last year, bowel cancer. So he had 2 serious surgeries. And I've mentioned this in an interview or 2 before, so it's all grand with him. He doesn't mind me saying it. We've talked about it. We didn't say it for a long time at the start, and but we just said, if him maybe talking about it also helps somebody as well. So he had bowel cancer. He went through 2 surgeries, but I'm happy to report that he's fighting fit and well. So and there were 2 massive surgeries. So we're delighted, and he's better. He's fantastic. He's having a great recovery, so all is good. And he's dying to get back at it.
Here, I know. I didn't know that.
I know, yeah.
Sorry to hear that, but that's good to hear that he's doing well, and I'm sure he's keeping tabs on what you're up to. I'm sure keeping an eye on.
He is. Yeah, he mightn't agree with all the songs that I will and all the bits that we work on, but he has to, because I don't give him a choice.
No. By God, when he gets back playing, he'll be showing you. Then you'll be wishing you hadn't hadn't done your own thing. But
he likes stuff with a bit more of an edge on it. But I say, you have to think about the radios and this needs to be put into a song, and flavor a song to make it more radio friendly, radio candy, and
Midwest,
and as you say,
Midwest friendly,
upbeat and upbeat and radio friendly.
It's occasion for all age groups,
exactly,
all listeners. But even when I was I suppose, because I've met you a few times and because you're Mayo based and that, I suppose I'm so used to hearing Hurricane Highway and hearing you on the radio. So when I actually went to Google, I always Google before an interview just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And what I found was that a bit of a scale about how you came together, that you're a bit of a mismatch, opposites attract job. So how did you met? A proper love story, is it? You met out in Westport, was it?
We met out in Westport. That's simple as that, yeah. But I knew of Kev and him playing in different bands, and he would have known me from playing in different bands, from in the cover band scene and all that. Like, he knew that I was, before Hurricane, I was in another band, you know what I mean? So I had my own band for years. And, with that, like, he always, he'd come up chatting to me or whatever, but we didn't know each other awful well. And Kev's wife had just passed away at the time. So we got talking, and it just felt like it was the right time for him to start doing something else in a project. And it kind of happened by accident, to be honest with you, that way, kind of happened by accident. And we started talking more often, and he came up with the concept, and then we just done with the 2 of us together. And then it kind of grew with extra musicians, and we put in and out different people with us. And that's kind of what happened. And then we evolved on the sound. Went from Your Man kind of sound, which was more acousticy, to, if it gets you where you want to go, Keep Them Kisses Coming, which was getting the band was getting bigger, and the costs were getting bigger.
That's so the reality of it, yeah.
But I mean, there's a couple of things and they say, God, the journey we've had, and it's only now in the last year when you get, like, at the beginning it was kind of like a lot of stuff was happening fast and you weren't taking it in. And I actually heard Gary Barlow on about this on a thing. Like, Gary Barlow, fantastic artist. And so, I heard him on about a thing on an interview there that he said not so long back, that, like, when he was, massive and Take That and all that, it all kind of passed him by him. Before he knew it, he didn't enjoy that part of it, And I think, that I can understand how that can happen as well with Gary Barlow and the Lee Guer in his, like, I'm not comparing it to that, obviously, I'm just saying that as an example. But I mean, he, it's about the really enjoyment of it. And just kind of going back to what I was saying about over the last 7 years, we've had some great fun, like, sometimes too much fun in some respects, but we've traveled, some great places and met some fantastic people. And, it's only in the last year I really kind of got a chance to sit back and kind of look at all that as well and see you know, it's so much, that's the important part of it, and to embrace all that. And there's more things that I would have liked to do. There's obviously over the last couple of years, there's stuff I would have probably done different, few things, you know, and there's other parts that I absolutely loved, you know, so yeah, that's it.
That's it. No, but you're dead right in saying this last year, I know it's probably given everyone a chance to reflect, but I think especially musicians and people in the country music scene to reflect back on careers so far, and then to for once actually have the time to plan ahead, because I suppose in the country music scene it's constant, it's gig to gig, it's weekend to weekend, it's where are we next weekend. There's never really any downtime unless you pencil it in, and that's rarely
it doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
That pencil it in stuff doesn't happen, because you know, I go back and over to Spain the odd time. My parents were living over there for a while in Spain, and they go back, and my sister lives over there as well. But you know, we got a place out there, and I was going back and over for a while at the beginning. It was a great novelty, and then I just for years just passed by, and I never got a chance to go over. And I was just thinking, you know, like you look back on that and think, God, why didn't I just say no? I'm going to take a week, because it was always kind of, as you just mentioned there, you know, you're going from week to week. The last thing you want to do is get in a plane on Monday, you know, and be back in. You're coming in you do it, like, but you come back in on a Thursday, Friday, and, you know, and you're straight back at it again. There's no kind of let up. All you want to do is just sit, you know, not to have that traveling as well on top of everything you've just done, traveling 600-700 miles around the country at the weekends, you know, as well. Like, so, yeah.
And everything is booked well in advance. I mean, even with myself, obviously, I'm not a musician or a singer, but with the dancing and the festivals and all that, like you're booked a year, or well, I suppose more so with the musicians and the singers. You're booked 2 years in advance, a year in advance, and so you don't actually reflect on what's coming up until you get to that month or get to that week. So it's you look at the diary for next year and it's irrelevant. It's not. You see gigs and you see things wrote down, but you don't actually put yourself in that mindset because it's next year.
Absolutely. And I suppose when you're self-employed as well, it's kind of a thing to, you know, you just kind of keep penciling them in, and you don't think about yourself about taking the week off and saying, no, I have to. You know, you kind of let it flow, and then before you know it, you're gone 2-3 years and thinking, God, I haven't had a holiday. You know, that's the way it is.
Yeah, but it is so true. And I suppose you get caught up when you're at all these gigs or festivals or things, because there is sometimes a holiday vibe to them, especially if they're the trips abroad, or if they're like that. You know, there used to be the Westport Festival years ago, the one in Westport House and all that. There's a holiday vibe to it, so you can sometimes get caught up in it all and feel like you're on holidays, but you're not really.
I know, yeah, you're working, but that's what it should be. It should just work, and then the others should be, then you go on your holidays. But you know, that's not.
And the funny thing is, when everything gets back to normal, we'll probably go straight back into it all again. Yeah, nothing will change. We won't have learned our lesson.
No, I think this is a huge reset button for everybody. But will it be a reset button when things go back to normal, or will things go back to normal, or will a lot be changed? It's hard to know, because you can't see big crowds being able to go into venues for a long time yet. Like, you know, we'll be the last to go back.
Yeah, you're probably right. I do think though ye have a bit of a benefit over some bands, because look, obviously I know you're country music, but you're more kind of American country, and you've got the rock going on as well. But I think you're definitely at an advantage to some of the artists in the country music scene, because you're more concert based than you would be dancing.
We're concert based completely. We're not, you know, with concerts and festivals, I suppose, but concerts is the main thing. And as you say, we're more international, as our kind of more market is international, to go, you know, to do more across the pond. And whereas a lot of them, you know, they have to be doing it in Ireland, with the exception of a couple of concerts in England and stuff, in Scotland. But thank God, that's where you know, that's what. Now, in saying that as well, we've picked a longer road with what we're doing. It's not like for touring around. It's a harder.
It's windier.
To get there. Yeah, it's a windier road. But it's the path we chose, and it's the music we wanted, we believed in, and we liked as we were going. You know, as I got more and more into it, I kind of suppose with singing for years in other bands and stuff like that, and I have my own kind of cover band and all that. It was more, I found my niche, what I kind of liked, you know, after singing AC/DC and all that kind of stuff for years.
So you sang, so before Hurricane Highway and before you met Kev, so you were you were gigging away as you had your own band, and what was that?
Whitewater,
Did you, this is totally like, well, it's not off topic, but I'm thinking back. Did you used to play Lyre in Ballahadreen?
We played every place that had electricity.
I'm pretty sure my first night out ever that I was allowed in the pub, you were playing in Lyre.
Well, how's
in
your ears?
Now.
How's your ears?
They were, yeah, and it's funny because I suppose back then I was into country. I was always country mad. Like I would have been gone to all the Midwest concerts. So it's funny.
That was far from country.
Well, this is what I'm laughing at, because if somebody told me now, okay, we're going to see a band like Whitewater, or we're going to see a rock, or we're going, like that kind of style, I'd be like, no, not a hope.
Yeah.
And it's funny because back then I'd be, rocking away and I'd be having a great time. It's funny how things change. And
age, but no, that's called age.
It's called age, and it's called peer pressure, and it's called a lot of other things. But I even think I have a poster. Oh my God, I think I must look for the crack. I think I have a ticket at home. It was Leaving Cert results night, and I think I have a ticket at home that has like the ticket Whitewater on it. I must look for the crack and see.
Jeez, it was.
Can you imagine? I was one of your first fans. I followed your career for years.
Oh my God, this is amazing. But we played every single college ball that was going in the country, everything. So like that would be 20 years, next year. Do you know what I mean? That band would have been since it was started. How that band actually all started was just to go into another. And I've never talked about this in an interview, but how that all started was actually in Kilshama. Just up the road from here. Okay, that's how it all started. Where Joe Welch, Louis Welch's brother, there was a competition in his bar up there.
What a man! Yes. Can I just say, what a man?
yeah. Joe Welch, wired to the moon a bit like myself.
Stop it. What an app! I mean, anyone who knows, if you're from Mayo or around Kilshama, if you know Joey Welch, he's the guy with the helicopter. Oh,
exactly.
Stop.
He could land the helicopter on top of the roof of the house. He came down here plenty of times in it.
He brought us around New York, and let me tell you, it was so
funny.
I was
over there. I was over there twice in him. Twice we were over there recording and everything. Oh, it's back. He brought us over there. And
it's so fantastic. Funny because so for the listeners there who can't understand a word we're saying, Louis Walsh's brother,
from the X Factor,
you're all
Louis
familiar
Walsh,
with Louis Walsh, right? So I knew we were meeting this Joey Walsh so backstory again, my fiance is from Kilshama. That's why we're talking about Kilshama. But basically, I was expecting, Louis Walsh's brother, I was expecting, he's been in New York for years. I was expecting this suave guy in a suit, and he's his own business. And I was expecting this proper, suited and booted fella. And he comes walking down the street like in a pair of cons and jeans with like the ripped knees and like a t-shirt on. I was like, and
like the ripped knees, like them.
Yeah, and he talked as if he had left Kilshama the day before, which I love. I love when I meet people over there who have been there for years, but they still have the accent. Anyway, I just, as you can tell, I just love
exactly. We should never lose that. We should never lose that in any respect.
Continue anyway. Joey Walsh was having a competition in Kilshama.
Yeah, and I think there was 80 bands in it or something between solo artists and bands. We won it anyway. Whitewater won it. That's how it happened. And he brought us over.
What year was that now?
It was 2002.
Oh, stop.
20 years next year, yeah. And then we went on, we played. I was just there watching another documentary the last day. No, actually, it wasn't a documentary. It was this morning I was watching, and one of the girls, Kimberly Walsh from Girls Aloud, was on. They were on before us at O2 in the Park. We played the following year with loads of bands. There was 100,000 people at it in Phoenix Park. We done that, and that was thanks to Joe as well. So, I've never got a chance to say that. And they were on before us, and the reason they were on before us, it wasn't because we were bigger at the time than they were. They only had one song out. They had one song, Sound of the Underground what it was, yeah. God, this is cool actually to talk about. And the reason they were on before us was they were going down to Kilkenny that night to support Shania Twain.
Now, talk about that for another windy road there.
I know. It's just, this is reeling. This isn't called Country Chats. This is called Reeling in the Years.
Yeah. I should have a different umbrella of the.
And you and your first night out and your college ticket and all these things.
It wasn't college. It was secondary school. It was
secondary school.
It was leaving
worse again.
Worse again. But you know what? This is because as I was explaining to you at the start, I was like, this is not an interview. This is a chat. And
absolutely, that's
and
what
it is
should,
because this is the sort of thing I'm assuming would not usually come out, because I suppose anytime you're interviewed in the last few years, it's Hurricane Highway and that kind of thing. So
yeah, you're just kind of getting to the root of, you know, things of me and stuff like that as well. No, absolutely, into the
this
back.
is the beauty of the
I've
podcast.
never, ever spoke about anything like that in any interview before, so it's completely different, which is cool.
We'll bring Whitewater back. And how did so what happened then with Whitewater? Was it
well,
just
it's been going up. It's been going up to the last few years, just up until it's been going right up until I still own it, still have it. It's up until up until COVID there. So, you know, there's different guys working, and I have different guys working in and out. So I still own it, yeah.
That's brilliant.
So it's still going. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So it's 20 years plus.
20 years plus, yeah.
Is there an anniversary? There'll be an anniversary.
No, obviously different. We try to get it back on the road if we can. That's about it.
That is, yeah. So that's how it started. And were you singing from a young age, like, or how did that band?
11. I got my first guitar when I was 11. Dad bought me a guitar. I actually wanted a motorbike, small little motorbike. At 11, I wanted them little small motorbikes. I said, I don't want a guitar, I want a motorbike. We were in Galway one day and I could see this little scooter thing. It was only a small little thing. But anyway, he said, no. I'm glad I never got a motorbike after that.
Guitar is the safer option. Imagine you could be a boy racer now and a
motorbike
guy.
And they're the most dangerous things. I had no interest in them whatsoever. But I got the guitar and that was it. I liked cars and stuff like that before that, but totally lost interest in all that. And it was just, I never left the guitar down after that then. You know, I just started singing along with, and the first song I ever learned was Neil Young, Heart of Gold. Never said that in an interview either. So now that we're reeling in the years, it's all
yes.
good.
Well, I was going to ask you, like, obviously, currently Hurricane Highway is kind of rock country. Like,
yeah.
I mean, look, I assume whenever anyone is from Mayo, their Midwest is on in the background all the time, and the country is there, whether you like it or not. So, like, obviously, rock is a big part of your background. But was country there too, or were your parents into rock or country, or what was the influences?
My parents actually aren't into the music much at all, but they've adjusted to get into music because of me being in music so much. So they've been around it for the last 20 years, and they have a way bigger understanding on it now. You know, dad would anyway. Mom still asks, you know, a lot of the stranger questions about music and, you know, how many strings are on the guitar and stuff like that. But no, yeah, but I think Dad's father, he played the accordion a bit, and Mum's father played the violin a bit. So there was a bit of music back there, you know, back. My mum could sing. My mum's a pretty, you know, good singer as well, but yeah, so she sings a small bit, like, but nothing, you know, just a party or something like that. You know, she never was into singing, never was a singer or anything like that. But yeah, they listen to the radio all the time, like, as you say, you know, they'd have the radio on in the background all the time. So they'd like all different types of music, you know. So that's how. And I suppose with country music, I just listened to a big range of music. Like, so I suppose rock definitely was the first, as it was, you know, from 11 upwards. And then just since Hurricane, kind of, a year or two before Hurricane, I was kind of, you know, listening to the kind of country rock. I maybe not even, I'd say 2 years before. I might only been a couple of months that I was listening to it before that. Like I always liked the different artists, like the Keith Urbans and stuff like that. But you could classify them as rock as well, like, because Keith Urban was in a covers band for years as well before he went, you know, out on his own. And I think a couple of them, like that Rascal Flatts, there, you know, there were cover bands and stuff like that. So I suppose, yeah, in that way, I listened to some of their kind of stuff, and then with the rock, and then just matched the both together, and that's kind of how it happened then. But first of all, it was more kind of acoustically, just with the two of us, was Your Man, and then we evolved in the sound, and that's kind of where it went, you know.
Mm-hmm. And what's has Kevin?
Just jumping up and down.
That's all right. You're getting excited.
Kev is folk. He's folk, and it's a bit of country there as well, like, so.
Yeah, but so I think that's what makes it so
dynamic.
Yes, there's so many different genres coming in, which is different, and that's what makes it.
Oh, so it does. You know, with me being a rock singer, I suppose, and him, yeah, country and folk and ballads. He's a big ballad singer. Like, Kev is a big ballad. Like, he would have played along with a lot of the guys that were, you know, on the big on the scene in Dublin, like, and all that. You know, like the Dublin City Ramblers and a couple of guys out of that he'd be very friendly with and all that, you know, and different ballad guys like that. a couple of different names there now. But yeah, he's been always done ballads all his life, and is a very good singer at doing ballads too. So as you say, it's a big mix of, there's a lot of stuff there which gives it the Hurricane Highway sound, and that's how it. You know, he bounces his ideas, I bounce my ideas, and that's what it just seems to work. It just works.
No, that's brilliant,
Yeah.
and it's a lovely kind of it's a lovely kind of story how it all just it does all just work, and that's what makes the sound so likable, and everybody, you know, and it fits into, I suppose, in the other way you're at an advantage, because obviously the like Midwest and the likes are playing you, but you're hitting so many different genres that you kind of can cover so many. You've kind of like double the amount of listeners because you've different aspects and genres coming in, which is great.
Well, yeah, because it's crossover, so we can be played on a country show, or we can be played on an afternoon show, like a country show or a pop show as well. So that has its benefits for extra, you know, getting extra plays and stuff like that, which is great, like, you know. So we're happy out with that it is crossover, and it is that sound. So you've country, rock, pop, I suppose, American country, rock, pop, acoustic. So it covers a broad range, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, that's absolutely brilliant. So we've got lots of history there on you, and we know all the crap.
I've said it all now.
You've said it all. Well, now we're going to move on to the quick fire round. Which so we've a few questions here, and it's kind of.
I need to drink water before this.
You might, because this is where the pressure. You might feel the pressure. You might feel pressure here. So yeah, I've about 10 or 12 questions, and they're just first answer that comes to your head.
And
I'll comes try to your mind, and we'll see what happens.
Do you have to start the clock? How long do I have?
I know you have a bit of time. So quick fire round with Ed Holland from Hurricane Highway. So Ed, who is your favorite American singer?
My favorite American singer would be Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. I love him singing. So yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it? And it was only earlier on I thought that was one of the questions you're going to ask me. So that's the only answer I have for any question. So I'd say Steven Tyler to every question. Go on. Okay, Aerosmith, I suppose. I really like him as a singer. He just has serious range, you know.
Absolutely. Favorite country song?
Favorite country song?
You're not allowed to say your own.
Oh, well, I wasn't going to say my own anyway. God, that's a real hard one.
Listen to now.
I was going to say I was going to say no, I'm not going to say that. What I was going to say. You probably
we heard it.
I didn't say that, did I? You didn't know what
I can edit it out. I can edit it out.
No, I was, you know, I'm only, but oh my God. Okay, go back. I need to reset now.
You're getting lighter now. Favorite country song to sing or to listen to?
Favorite country song. God, you really put me on spot. Like, there's so many brilliant Glenn Campbell songs, and there's so many, you know, artists like that. Keith Urban. I'm just thinking of a song that I would love to. I don't want to say a song now that I don't like, and I'd be saying afterwards. Oh God, sorry. You've really put me on the spot now there with that one. Let me think.
I'm thinking a good one for you is "Life Is a Highway."
Okay.
Keith Urban.
Oh, any Rascal. I love Rascal Flats, or any Life Is a Highway. You know, yeah. Let's go with that for now. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking Hurricane Highway, Life Is a Highway.
I was only listening to it 2 days ago. So
there we go. Okay.
Need You Now, Lady Antebellum. Need You Now, Lady Antebellum is a class song.
That is a good one. Good choice.
You know, there's some brilliant songs like that. That's a standout song. It's performance, you know, vocal wise for both of them. You know, the arrangement, everything there is just, it's class song.
You're getting very excited now with all these questions. Right, yeah. Next one.
That's only 2 yet.
Yeah, that's only 2. Okay, next one. Can you dance?
No, very badly.
Do you want to learn how to dance?
No, I don't. I'd be absolutely useless dancing. Absolutely useless.
Okay, so you're not booking in for dance lessons, so.
I'm like an uncle dancing at a wedding. You know, it's bad. It's bad.
Okay, moving on quickly. So, where is your favorite venue to gig in, or the best gig you've ever done?
Oh wow! One of the best venues would be the Waterfront of Belfast. Is a class venue, or Vicar Street in Dublin, or the Olympia in Dublin. I love them venues. The Vicar Street in Dublin is really good. The Olympia in Dublin, another good venue. I love Vicar Street. Vicar Street. There's a good old vibe there, and the Waterfront of Belfast. Played there a few times. So It was I any of them, like they're really good ones. Like as if you're kind of concert venues, really, really good.
Very good. Who is your biggest fan, or who is Hurricane Highway's biggest fan?
Who was Hurricane Highway's biggest fan? Probably myself.
And who's next? Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. That's a strange guy. I don't know. I can't answer that. Go on.
There's too many of them to name.
Yeah. Hopefully there's loads of them out there, and hopefully there's loads more on the way now after this.
Oh Jesus, please God, no pressure. Okay, next one. Do you play an instrument other than the guitar?
I do. I play a bit of the I play the piano badly. I play the drums badly. I play the bass badly. But guitar is my instrument. I wouldn't even say that the other ones. I could play the bass for a couple of songs. That's it. Play a couple of songs on the piano, but I wouldn't be brilliant on it. I like it, but that's all. Yeah, a bit of the piano, a bit of the bass.
Very good. Okay, what is your favorite local radio station?
Midwest Radio.
You.
I did 100%.
I know, and they are so good for playing you. Like,
they're amazing. They're amazing. They've been amazing support from the very beginning. And you know what? Without them, to be honest with you, we wouldn't be where we are. I really mean that when I say that, because they've been so supportive, and there's been then like so many radio stations right across the board to be so thankful for that have all came on stream. But Midwest Radio, our local radio, was the very first radio station that ever played Your Man and stuff like that, and it all spiraled on from that. And now we're getting played right across the country. Play the Shalala's playlists right across. Spirit Radio are fantastic to us. Love their radio station.
I do as well.
Ocean, all them. Ocean. All the radios. Radio Curry. There's too many of them. I shouldn't even mention any. But Midwest, fantastic. They've Paul and all the guys up there has been Paul Claffey and all of them has been absolutely massive support to us, and their TV show as well.
I agree. No, it's my favorite as well. Okay, two more. What is your favorite song to sing?
Of Hurricane Highway.
In general, any song.
In general, of any song. Well, if it was to be a rock song, it'd probably be a Steve. I like a song with a challenge. It'd probably be. This is just off the top of my head now because there's so many songs, and it would be. Like there's likes of a song. Like a rock ballad, like I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith or Bed of Roses by Bon Jovi would be two big songs that I always sing in the rock group over the years. So they're huge songs and really challenging. So I like a song with the challenge like that. And then in the concerts with Hurricane Highway, I love singing. Maybe If It Gets Me, You Want to Go, or Hey Pretty Girl. I like singing Hey Pretty Girl, or and then some of the new ones, as well. So yeah. There's a couple I've given you about 5 answers for every one question that you only want to answer.
The quick fire round, not the title.
I hopefully I'll be better in the second half. I'm just getting warmed up.
Well, you've only one question left now, so.
Oh, was that 11?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't counting
I'd
exactly.
say you only know about 5 or 6 there.
Well, last one now. Well, tell us something we don't know about you.
Ooh.
Or secret.
Secret. That's a good question. Secret.
Everyone says that when I ask them.
I don't know, like that could be a million things. I suppose with doing songs, I'm picky with the I chop and change too much. I'm a bit too overcritical of things sometimes. I analyze. I have a flaw, a default that I analyze things too much sometimes, and I think, oh God, I have to do it kind of this way, or it has to be done this way, or kind of like whereas if I delegated some stuff, I'd be an awful lot better off and I'd cover a lot more ground. But sometimes I feel like I nearly have to do it all, have to do everything myself.
I'm the same.
In my eyes, I feel that's probably a default that I have. It's probably I probably would be better off if I could. But then again, I'd probably go back at it if it was something and do it then again myself, redo it the way I wanted to. But I think that's from over the years, from with working with different guys and stuff like that as well. You'd feel, God, could you not just do that right? Could you not, but
I totally agree. I'm the same, especially being self-employed, and it's just me running the show. Like I've no help.
I think probably as I said, I have to do everything. Like I'd have to be.
And I like doing everything, but sometimes you're like, oh, I'd love if I just had another person to work with me. And I'm like, no, because I'd still like be checking everything they're doing. And checking.
You can totally relate to that because of running all the different things, and then I suppose it keeps your eye on the ball all the time too, with knowing what's going on too. Like I don't mean that in an overprotective way of the business or the way things are going, but it just kind of it keeps you focused more so,
Yeah, you have to constantly be on the ball. Like you can't really slack or slip, because if you
No.
slip, then something big could happen. But
Yeah.
no, you're dead right. So you're going to want to edit the podcast, produce the podcast, edit this. You're going to want to check all that.
Everything.
So I'm gonna, when I'm editing it, I'm gonna be like, oh sugar,
and make sure
gonna
that
be
question
okay.
back.
Yeah, is this gonna be okay?
That
And is the volume okay?
Yeah. That's gonna just go. That part, you know.
This is the first, and the funny thing is, when I'm editing the podcast, I don't actually like. I know from chatting now, like I know that the interview has gone fine, and there was no interference or anything, so I know it's okay. So I usually just take a quick listen, and I leave it at that. I don't. To be honest, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit down and edit.
I know.
And I don't, because you know what? I'd be here all day. But
I know, but you don't need to. That's meant to be natural. You know what I mean? Look at that, look at that.
This is it. And I'm here. I've been fixing these ear pods, whatever they're.
I keep hitting it there because I normally don't wait. This is the first time I've wore them.
I was very, you had to do right.
It's very good.
Earphones. It actually, do you know what? Going off topic totally, it makes a big difference.
It does.
It was, you know, Alan Clark, the videographer. Yeah, it was actually Alan that said, make sure you get your guests to wear earphones. He said the sound comes across so much better.
Well, Alan, he's serious experience.
Absolutely. Guy. And you know what? Speaking of videos, the only time we've ever, would you call it a gig? The only time we've ever gigged together. Do you remember?
Yeah. McCarthy's party.
With Fiona Hagen.
Yeah, absolutely. It was brilliant. Serious fun that day.
What? And then we were fighting.
Yeah, we were fighting all that. And come here, wait, this is mad. You know the person that came out, that was outside the bar that day, when I was talking to them, there was a couple that got married. Do you remember that?
Were they the American couple?
Yeah, the guy that was in behind the bar. That was
that
accident. I got him into he came across the road and he was looking at the name over the door. So weird, right? This is mad story, right? So he's looking at the name over the door and he was saying, oh, my name is McCarthy, he says as well. That's a great American accent, isn't it? No, I'm not. But anyhow, he says, my name is Rick McCarthy or whatever. So, and I go, come in, we're doing a video. Come on in. So anyways, he comes in and, himself and his wife, and they were on their honeymoon, which was mad that time. So you probably knew that day and everything. So never heard another thing after that. We went off to Cork that night to shoot I Learned From You video the following day. Clearwater was in I Learned From You video. Yeah. So anyhow, last week I was doing an interview with on Instagram like this with another kind of radio station called Route 66 actually, and it was in North Carolina, right? And the message come up on the thing. This is the guy from such and such Ireland, and who was it? But them. I could not believe. I swear to God. And they sent us a message since on our Facebook and all that. And now they got T-shirts, Hurricane Iowa T-shirts and CDs and everything brought. So they're all gone over to them. And so, imagine, unbelievable. And they're going to star in that kind of fan video that is, it's just a fan video that's been edited kind of together with the guy that is putting them all clips of people singing Shalala. The music video is already out, but so they're going to be in that as well.
That is amazing. I know. And then you're talking to me the week later, and we're talking about it. I know. That was 3 years ago. If not,
it's about 3 years ago. It was June. I think it was June. Yeah,
it was a lovely day. It was a lovely day.
It was gorgeous. That.
Yeah. Oh gorgeous. My! How did you?
It was brilliant.
How I know? So you're friends with Avril.
I'm friends with Avril.
Yeah.
And
so is that how
Cleona,
you got roped in?
Yeah. Well, I was friends with Cleona and Aidan. They rang me and asked me. Remember that we were in that place the night after we'd done the Harvest Festival when Cleona was down that time, and we went up to their place afterwards. And she said, "Remember that place? We've a song called McCarthy's Party coming out." I said, "Could you get us that place?" And I said, "Yeah, well, let me see what I could do." So I ended up organizing the whole thing nearly within 4 days. So they said, "Well, we're coming up anyway because we're all going to Cork and everything. Can you organize it for that day with the camera guy?" So it was all fast. And that's how it happened.
Yeah. And I think I got a call that day to say, "Are you around?" Because
fair play to you for coming down. It was great crack. And even Michael Ring was in.
Oh, stop, do you remember? And the fight, all I remember is me and Cleona had.
And by the way, for anybody that's listening, it was all that was all staged, harmless fun.
Oh yeah, like me and Clearwater were not really fighting, but Jesus, it was well done. You should go and check it out. I'm saying we're promoting other artists as well. But
no,
no,
absolutely. That's the way it should be too.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be too. If everybody was supporting each other in the music business and make it a way nicer place, I think that it costs nothing to put a like on anything on Facebook or these things. Everybody supports. That's my motto, and that's what we should be learning with things like the way with where we're in now in the world with this pandemic and everything as well.
Yeah,
support one another big time. I'm a firm believer in stuff like that, definitely.
No, that's good to hear. So that was our gig together.
Yeah, absolutely.
A random enough one. But that I can't get over that about the couple. Like, it's so random.
I know.
And here we are talking about it now. I'm like,
I could not believe it. That actually on Instagram, when they done it was the messages were coming up, and they were like, I was kind of reading them as we were doing the interview, and I was saying, "Oh, hello, it's such and such," and then that came up. I could not believe it. So I told the story then over the thing. So it was just random, like it was amazing.
A small world, like.
And that it was so strange that day, even so that they were on their honeymoon. He was called McCarthy. We were doing a video. It was called McCarthy's Party. And they were in Westport, like all the way from America, and he made it across the road, and I was standing outside. That's how simple that happened. Like that wasn't staged, nothing. That was just like, hey, I said, come in, and he ends up being in the video.
It's amazing.
That
is a brilliant story there.
Absolutely. It is. That is. And like, I don't think half of us realized it, and it's only that it's just all freshened up in my head, since last week. It's mad, but they're great little things, and I suppose we weren't in this game, in the music game, we wouldn't have get experiences like that and stuff. So it's brilliant.
That's it. No, that's yeah. So make sure, guys, you go and check out that video. That's McCarthy's Party by Hagan. And then as well as that, while you're at it, you have to go, and you've a few jobs to do now, man. Give you homework this week. You have to go and follow Hurricane Highway on Facebook. Jesus, you're up on, was it 22,000? Followers or something. You have the website, you have the Instagram. Assuming there's a YouTube channel or video.
There is there's a YouTube channel, Instagram, all that. But Facebook is the main one, and Spotify. They're the two main things that we do.
Spotify, of course. So you can go and check out the album Exposed and check out the new singles, and we can be awaiting the new album as well. And I'm looking at the clock here. We're gone 50 minutes now. You were worried when I said, we could be 30, 40, 50 minutes. It does.
And we could keep going. Because we have so much to talk about. So I jotted down a few things on a page here, and I haven't even looked at the page.
Oh, well, it's great. I'll look at your page quick.
I look at my page now. I'm very organised now, how I did.
Well, I had a page as well, but I hadn't much on it, to be honest.
Actually, I think we covered absolutely everything.
And that
I was mentioning about the tours and Ireland and, all that kind of stuff.
And hopefully Kevin is listening in. He'll be
Kevin,
where you
I do a slot on just the one thing I didn't say is, I suppose I do a slot on Sky on the Spotlight TV channel as well, on Spotlight TV.
I saw earlier when I scrolled down through your Facebook, not the Hurricane Highway one, your one, before I came on, just to see was I missing anything. And there's a lot of different shows that were coming up on your page, so I was getting a bit mithered.
Yeah.
And then I saw you, and I was like, does he do a show? And then I noticed the time, and there was 2 minutes to go, and I was like, sugar, I better. And then I forgot about it. So I do. So
I do it at the end of. It's just like a 15-minute segment. I play 3 American country videos on Steve's Country Showdown. It's on every Wednesday from 8 to 9, and our slot is about 8:45 to 9 o'clock. And Friday, which is today, at about 5:45 to 6 o'clock, and again 2:45 till 3 o'clock on a Sunday. So Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and called Hurricane Highway Country. And I just played 3 videos, and it's that started last July, all in the lockdown and stuff like that. So his approach to do it. So I said, cool, and I just do that little bit of a slot as well. So it's grand. It keeps me.
Because well, I'm impressed because you know what times your show is at. I don't know what time my show is at on Spotlight. So I wasn't aware that we are actually co-workers on Spotlight.
Co-workers, absolutely. And it's going from strength to strength. another Mayo man, isn't he? Phil McLaughlin.
Yes, his wife
Killala.
is from Killala. Yes,
Yeah, Killala.
and actually
Mayo
for
connections.
Christmas, I made sure they got a little Mayo will always be home frame. And when they
great.
were home, oh God, 2 years ago, I was down at them. They're lovely, and geez, I'd say they're missing it, not coming home. But I'm sure they'll be.
Yeah, well, hopefully that'll all change now for everybody soon.
Yeah, do you know what? Most of the podcasts I end up talking about Mayo some way or other. Now
Mayo
the second
will
Mayo
always be
man
home.
on the podcast.
Mayo will always be home. Who was the other one?
David Connor from Clearwater.
Oh yeah.
David was
He
the
done
first
very well.
Mayo man. He did do very well. Semi-final. The final, and he was the runner-up. So
fair play to him. Fair play to him.
So,
he hopefully get his band on the road, and after this and all will go good for him. You know, he's doing well. Fair play to him.
No, he is, and it's great. Well, anytime I have a Mayo person on the it's.
I think David used to come to a lot of gigs when he was in the cover band as well. A couple of years ago, I think I remember him from a couple of gigs.
You've all these fans around, and you didn't even know.
I know, it's
I'm going
amazing.
to have to go routing out. But you know what? I'm going to have to go through the old digital cameras and the old Facebook and Bebo pictures and see.
Oh, Bebo. Oh,
imagine if there's a photo of you in the background and me there. Jesus, I probably shouldn't even.
Reeling in the ear. You should change the name of the show to Reeling in the Ears. Tell you.
There we go.
No, I swear it's been fantastic. We talked about so much different. We've talked about so many different things.
Absolutely. No, it's great. And hopefully any of our listeners that are Hurricane Highway fans and have been following you for a while, hopefully you've learned a few new things as well. I definitely have. So I think sometimes I know you can get a bit complacent when like you're Mayo and you're a Mayo band or a Mayo group and you kind of, oh sure, I know them, and you never really get to go further or go deeper.
I know.
You're on the radio and I hear you and I'm aware of you, but it's I've learned so much today. It's brilliant. It's been great, and it's been great to catch up and have the crack and have the chats, and make sure, guys, that you do go and check out all the social medias and Facebooks and Spotify and all that. Give a follow and stay updated, and hopefully we'll have an album out soon enough, and we've a few singles coming out. But
another few singles
brilliant.
Coming out, Thank you so much, Sandra, and it's been fantastic, and I really enjoyed it, and it's great to get a gig.
There we go.
This is my Friday night gig. Thanks so much.
because this gig pays a lot, Did I not mention that to you?
Oh yeah, I know. I seen it coming in today in the account, so thanks so much.
Oh, that's good. I don't need to worry about it. So
we're going to have a great weekend. It's good. But no, thanks so much, Sandra. It's been fantastic. It's been a blast, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. Please God, sure. You're only over the road, and please God, we'll be able to meet up or something in McCarthy's, maybe in McCarthy's. McCarthy's party. Let's do it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Country Chats podcast. It's series 2, episode 8. Thank you so much. Mind yourselves, stay safe, and I will chat to you in the next episode.